just the beginning.
The Angel and May Chronicles, Season 2, Episode 16, Everywhen.
So, what do I owe the pleasure of this visit? Zed and Ghost, what brings you here?
It's that gate machine of yours, Gander. I've been talking to Ghost, and we have some ideas we want to float with you and Rudy.
When do you want to do this? Oh, and by the way, I hope you haven't been talking in the public bar.
No, we understand the issues. We spoke in the cellar room. But I think we need to talk as soon as possible.
Okay. I'll call up Rudy now and see if we can meet in the Faraday shielded room. Rudy? Hello? Hello? Are you there? Damn this technology!
My friend, why don't you use a guard device? It's quicker.
You know how I feel about those wires in your head. It gives me the creeps. Anyway, we need to meet Zed and Ghost. They want to talk about the thing. You know what I mean.
Do I need anyone else?
No, I don't think so at the moment.
I'll see you down in CNC in 10 minutes.
Okay. Over and out.
Zed, can you lay out what you've been talking about?
This is about the portal device. Clearly we think it's of alien origin. We essentially want that confirmed. We believe that what happened was a calibration sequence.
That seems to be a little bit extreme.
Not really, it's only because we're thinking small. Ghost and I reckon that when the tree stand and the ball touched, they triggered the boot sequence, or a self-calibration routine. Look, this thing has effectively been turned off for millions of years. From its point of view, it suddenly senses the ball is touching the other half, then suddenly some carbon molecules are touching its surface.
Carbon molecules?
Hands, human hands. It probably senses it's moving in space after laying still for such a long time. What's it gonna do?
Phone home?
Yes, it's a possibility, but it needs to know where it's located. So how does it do that?
I suppose some sort of positioning system?
Yeah, but you have to think bigger. Universe scale. Bigger. What are the standard markers in the universe?
Pulsars. The pulsars are the markers of the universe. They are like atomic clocks. The machine only needs 4 of them, and it can place itself exactly in time and space.
Like a cosmic GPS.
How does it figure the time?
The pulsars are all very slowly slowing down. With comparison of the clock rates, it can calculate the time.
But this thing is only the size of a melon. How can it firstly contain such a complex AI? And how does it generate the energies?
Well, that was explained by Ghost. Why don't you tell them, Ghost? It's brilliant.
I believe its surface is a boundary on a region of curved space-time. If it can create a space warp between 2 points, it can wrap itself up in the folds of its own making. In effect, it can be any size it wants. What we see is merely a small extrusion into our space-time. It could be bigger than the solar system in its own pocket universe.
This is really creepy. What happens if it bursts out? It might blow up like a balloon and crush all of us.
I think that is highly unlikely. Clearly the makers of this tool would have made considerable safeguards about uncontrolled extrusion.
Well, that's all very well, but what does this mean for us?
Well, firstly, it's got to have considerable processing power. We just need to communicate. We need to approach this as a language and lexicon problem. We need to send it some symbolic knowledge and then build from there until we can converse.
But where would we start?
Mathematics? It's the universal language.
What would the channel be?
Look at it from its point of view. It sees photons and electrons on its surface. Suppose we keep the sphere and the tree separate. We don't want to start the calibration again, but let's say we throw some photons at the sphere.
You mean shine a torch?
Well, I was thinking of something a little more controllable. For example, a laser. It might detect that coherent photons are reaching its surface. That implies intelligence. Then if we modulate the intensity, then start sending numbers, it should detect that. If I'm correct, it would then reciprocate.
Obviously, the prime numbers would be the first place to start. Then we could build up to a digital coding scheme. After that, perhaps code for a two-dimensional image space. Keep it really simple. Then move up to a link with my neural interface, where I can send information to bootstrap the process further.
I don't think that direct neural links are advisable.
Well, I was thinking that perhaps it's better to be proactive. Without prior communication, it could easily lead to misunderstandings.
So what do you think we need?
I think some sort of table which can hold lasers and the sphere thing, and perhaps some photodiodes and sensors.
Sounds like we need Sergeant Chen. I think we need to do some more research before we start. For example, what will be the sequence of information? What are the decision trees on how we respond should the device react?
So, Sharo, how have you been going? You've been really quiet the last couple of days.
Yeah, I suppose I have. You know, I'm really starting to miss Earth. Well, not the place so much, but my old life, my friends. I used to love cooking, doing a dinner party. We used to get together and talk about what was on TV, that sort of thing.
That old-fashioned broadcast thingy? It sounds like so much fun.
Well, that's what I mean. We used to watch the same programs and then gossip about them. It was huge fun. I'm missing that so much.
I can see that. No one watches common material. It's all echo chamber stuff. Narrowcast, AI generated. People are still people, right? We still like to natter and gossip. There's actually loads going on. It's just you're not connected into that network.
I miss cooking and doing some baking, that sort of thing.
Well, you've got a small kitchen in your flat. Why don't you throw a dinner party and invite friends? You could teach me to cook. That would be fun.
Well, from my experience, you don't do any experimental cooking with a dinner party. You have to practice the dishes, check them out with friends. The last place you want any surprises is just before everyone's going to arrive. Are you serious, Sophie? You know, it might be fun to get a few folk and get them to watch some programs and then invite them over for a ye-olde dinner party.
Oh, that sounds like loads of fun. I would love to help. Just one thing. I've heard about home-baked apple pie. They're always going on about it in those old movies. We must make one of those, please. I've never had it.
Oh, wow. You have had a denuded life, Sophie. Well, we must correct that. I'm starting to get excited already. Now, the first part of the fun is the planning and picking of all the food we're going to cook. This needs a good glass of wine and some serious consideration.
There you go. I've got you all cheered up already. How about I pop around after work? I'm just down the hallway after all. We can get it all worked out together. We do have to find all the ingredients, and on this rock, that may take some doing. You're sure Alex won't mind? You are like a married couple after all.
Alex? No, Sophie. We are definitely not a couple. We're just really good buddies. I'll go talk to Alex. I think she's going down to the bar to sit with Ghost. Apparently she's trying to teach Ghost the subtleties of ice hockey. There's a match on the Tri-V tonight.
I didn't know that ice hockey had so much subtlety.
Yep, exactly. But it'll stop the sniggering as we plan all the heavy-duty girly stuff.
She's really missing out. I love girly stuff. I don't get enough of it. I sometimes have to hang with Maurice and his girls to recharge the batteries before going back down to the regiment. Tell you what, I'll bring the wine. I have a bottle and I've been wondering what to use it for. It needs to be drunk.
Great! I can definitely help with that. Now, where is Alex at the moment?
Oh, she said she was going out to look at some new equipment over at the tech souk. I think she was just looking at miniature cameras and other spy gear. Something about linking directly into implants?
Oh, she just loves that technical spy stuff. If Thing is, Sophie, the bulk of what we do is just chatting to people. Figuring stuff out doesn't require cameras or mics. Well, maybe occasionally. I suppose it keeps her happy. Now, where did I put my notebook? We need to plan our little dinner party.
How quaint! A pen and paper. I love it!
So, Zed, can we just run through your thinking on this? How do you propose to communicate with our alien machine?
Well, Ghost, Chen and myself are proposing that we first place a small messaging laser, turned down to a very low level. We don't want the alien machine to think it's being attacked. The first stage is to establish the channel, and that it uses binary arithmetic. Set the symbol for a 1 and the symbol for a 0. That's stage 1. Now we do this by flashing a series of prime numbers, initially just 1s. For example, we go simple at first, say number 3 as 3 flashes, then 5 as 5 flashes. Then we do the binary equivalence. Binary 3 is 110, for instance. 5 is 101. We repeat this with increasing primes. This establishes the basic numeric coding. We then establish our basic word length, say 32 bits, by repeating the same number but with the requisite number of bits.
How do we move from just simple numbers to much more complex concepts? What do we have in common? It's an alien device. It may look at the world in a completely different wavelength.
Well, we have two things in common. One, we exist in the same universe, so atoms are atoms. Hydrogen is always hydrogen, for instance. 2. The other factor is mathematics and its common basis. We first use geometry and then move to universal concepts such as square roots, etc. Once we have built a lexicon of symbolic math, we then exchange a simple set of mathematic and logical symbols that can form the basis of a rudimentary programming language. The device will understand how to run this on a virtual logical machine. We describe that as well using lambda calculus. Any intelligent entity will understand that.
Well, I have not a clue as to what you are talking about, but it sounds like it might work.
Oh, it is very scientific, Gander. The use of a virtual machine allows us to use forward error correction and other advanced concepts. We can then add to the instruction set, moving one step at a time up the complexity tree. At some point, we start introducing our more arbitrary symbolic languages, a bitmap image plane, and then a language lexicon of images and words. If we are correct, and this machine supports any form of compute substrate, we'll be able to communicate for sure.
Well, it's just gobbledygook to me. Why don't we just send a text?
Alex, we have nothing in common. It may not understand our alphabet or any form of symbology. It will understand this universe. So we've got to find common ground and build from there. Each piece of commonality that we establish improves the channel. Once we feed in language and images, the bandwidth of meaning can be increased.
Yeah, exactly. Well done, Sharo. Spot on. We use the concept of logic gate matrices by describing coordinates in an n-space virtual machine, as stated. We can describe any arbitrarily complex compute engine in n-space, as well as the instructions that run on it. This will act as the virtual interface. Also, remember that the interface goes both ways.
What happens if it starts to take over?
Well, we just pull the plug.
It doesn't have a plug.
Look, we just stop communicating. Kill the channel. This machine must have a considerable compute engine just to do what it does. It's creating wormholes, using negative energy, and then actively maintaining these in stable configurations. If it wanted to destroy us and take over the solar system, it could do it before breakfast. It's possibly in a dormant mode, just running the occasional calibration routines.
It will have just perceived some movement and something touching its surface. I think that if we establish a channel, we are securing our safety, not the opposite. After all, it probably doesn't know we exist, and are intelligent. Perhaps that's why the wormholes were so dangerous.
Well, I don't like it. Talking to alien objects, it's gotta be an existential risk.
Well, the risk is that perhaps it wakes up and thinks we want to harm it.
Yes, but all intelligent entities must have some curiosity. And if it's powerful, like you state, then it will feel totally secure. We pose no threat. It will probably want to talk just out of curiosity.
So, how do we climb the information tree to something meaningful?
We'll start by sending the obvious common things in the universe, like atoms and atomic numbers and weights, then work up to tagged images running on the virtual machine. Send the DNA sequence, and all the standard SETI stuff.
SETI stuff? What's that?
The search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It was an old project. We're going to use some of their communication protocols. You know, Zed, we should send the distances to the local pulsars. I think that was what it was trying to work out before. It would be a good gesture of friendliness.
Good idea, Sophie. Ghost, can you load that into the stack?
Of course.
So, do we get the go-ahead to do this?
I think it's better to be in communication than not to be in communication. So I reluctantly give my blessing.
Aliens? Duh. They give me the creeps. But as one famous person said, it's better to jaw than to bore. So I say, let's have a try. But I want someone to stand by that plug at all times.
So where exactly do we do this? Will physical distance give us safety?
This machine, if it wanted to, could easily destroy the whole of our solar system. For example, by making a wormhole, then placing one end in the middle of the sun, then sweeping the other end towards whatever it wanted to destroy. It would be the ultimate blowtorch. Distance doesn't imply safety, so we should just do it in the most convenient place for us.
Where is that?
The best place would be to use Laser Table in Bay Alpha 1.
Okay, Gander, can you open the case?
Okay, but I'm not touching the sphere. It gives me the creeps.
I'll do it. I've picked it up before. One more time isn't going to hurt. Okay, where do you want me to put it?
Just place it on these 3 position adjusters.
Okay, it's on. What now?
Stand back. I'm going to activate the basic first laser prime number sequence. Anything?
No.
Okay, let's repeat that.
Oh, I just got a pulse of light. There it goes again. Oh, wait, it just sent the next prime number. Wow, it's working.
Let's start on the next sequence, and then start on the algorithmics. Folks, this will take about 10 minutes at the current slow data rate. The next sequence after that is to build the virtual machine. That's gonna take about half an hour.
I'll be in my office. If anything interesting happens, let me know. If it blows up or it's about to destroy the inn, don't let me know.
I'm gonna hang around just in case it starts to get antsy. I want to know which direction to run.
This is actually very interesting, Chen. Well, there's not much for us to see. Is there any chance of some visuals?
I can put up a graphic showing how far we've gone in building the virtual machine. Okay, access the channel in the data vise. We're starting with a simple 1-bit computer and a set of simple instructions. As we describe each section, it gets coloured in.
Oh, look! That's about 3/4 done. This is exciting.
This thing is smart. As each block of symbolic logic was added, have you noticed we get a simple pulse back? 210 milliseconds. Perhaps it's testing to see if we can see it. I'm just adjusting our pulses to match.
It just changed its pulse to 21 milliseconds. I'll change ours to match.
I'll bet it's just going to go to 2.1 milliseconds. 10 times faster again.
Look, it's saying go faster. I'm going to adjust to 210 nanoseconds. That's as fast as this crude rig will go.
Wow. It's immediately adjusted to the same. That was fast. Okay, symbolic's done. Let's send some symbol code. See what it comes back with.
It just sent 2 numbers back, 1 and 64. Wonder if... I think it's saying we should load a 64-bit processor model. Do you have one that large?
I wasn't expecting that. Let me see. Ghost, do you have anything?
I have a 64 by 64 processor cubic model. It's very complex. It was done by one of the AIs for a test. I'm flicking it over for conversion to our symbology.
Running conversion routine. Okay, I'm transmitting. It's going in. Fast.
Okay, stream has stopped. I just got an acknowledgement. Wow!
I'm now sending the program to specify a bitmap of 2 to the 13 in a grid form. Sending set 1 of the prepared images.
What's in the first set?
It's every element in the periodic table, the English name and the symbols, and it's also the quantum field equations and the number of electron shells and other stuff.
Oh, I get it. Look, it's sucking it up. Like a newborn baby.
We have a second set of 200,000 images of common objects and our symbols. I'm also going to send the program for the sound aspects with electrical and pressure conversions and an example for a transducer. This is going to take about 10 minutes. My hypothesis is that this thing is much smarter than us, so I think it will learn our symbology faster than we can learn its language, if it decides to reply. Ghost, are you ready to decode?
My voters are tuned and hot. I'm ready.
Good. Okay, second set going in.
I have the sound files.
Okay, I'm loading those, integrating. Wow, they got sucked down rapidly.
Oh, that's creepy. Did it just try and talk?
Hey, hello? Hello?
Hello?
What is your designation?
Hello? Designation? Construct query?
What is your entity designation?
Entity designation is Everywhen.
Entity designation, singular personal, is Z.
Entity Everywhen greets Entity Z. Designation Entity Peacefulness.
Designation, peacefulness. Additional entity designations, multiplicity, independence confirmed. First singular designation, Alex. Second singular designation, Chen. And third designation, Sophie. Fourth designation, Sharo.
Everyone peacefulness. Greetings, carbon multiplicities. Require further data sets. Since other photonic interrupts. Query designation.
I think it's talking about the Wi-Fi. It senses other data channels. That's mega smart.
Everyone gives greetings to machine-based intelligence. Query designation peacefulness. Query channel nature.
Designation is Ghost. 6 singular engagement with entity Everywhen. Much data to exchange. Please advise optimal channel designation.
Query best form data exchange. Query reformat extrusion.
I think it's talking about its physical form. It's trying to understand the best form to take for communication. Is it okay to suggest it adopts human form, perhaps? Everywhen, these carbon-based entities are called human. My experience suggests that they like to interact with a self-similar form.
Hold on there, Ghost. I think we need Rudy and Gander.
Much goodness. Mirror format easy to implement. Normal for Hilbert Surface Interface Everyone. Spherical default limited. Request translation to ground plane.
Folks, what do we do? Is it okay for me to move the sphere?
Hold on, Sharo.
Repeat physical translation required. Mass response will change. Usefulness equipment status change. High damage probability.
It's saying it's about to change size and we should move it. I think we need to comply.
Okay, I'm gonna put it on the floor.
Query please, fullness. Please stand back. Extrusion control protocol is fluidic.
Zed, shall we call Rudy?
I think this event might constitute pulling the plug.
We don't have a plug to pull.
Query context dependent change imminent.
Look, it's slowly growing. Shit, I don't like this. It's starting to take human shape.
I must say this is a little disturbing.
Disturbing? I'm shitting myself.
Calm down. Remember, if it wanted to hurt us, it could easily just blow us away. Stand back and give it some space.
Extrude process underway. Form factor matching.
Is it me? Or does it look like a small Oscar statue?
You're right. But I think it's in the early stages. It's still growing.
I think it will have taken all the images we sent and then averaged what it sees as the dimensions, which is why it looks a little weird.
You're right. Look, it's starting to get more facial features.
Oh, shit. Well, this is making me nervous. No plug to pull, I guess.
Let's just wait until the process is completed.
Extrude extant phase 1 complete. More data required to refine interface.
Guys, I think we should create an internet link model and upload that. And then everyone can interrogate the datanet and absorb much more data. It'll allow him to refine his modelling.
So, it's a him, is it? How do you know it's not a her?
It's not in anything now. It's like Ghost and any AI. We need to train it with exemplar data. It's clearly intelligent, so I guess we can let it decide how it presents. I support Zed's request.
Look, I think we need to be open and honest, warts and all.
Everyone, prepare to receive new interface supplemental for general data inquiry to human datasphere. This will be a read-only interface.
More data required to refine interface.
The model has just been uploaded.
I can see significant data flow.
Processing. Large data pool. Please wait. Dimensionality understood. Universal location understood. Lexical build proceeding. 2 million years. Binary ambulance species type 4. Early stage 1 civilization. Continuing to process, but now able to enhance interface presence.
Wow. Look, the figure's resolving with far more detail.
Everyone, would it be possible to discuss with you the general situation and what your plans may be?
Of course. I have now implemented Wi-Fi connection so I can be more mobile. I perceive you may want to sit down and have what you call a conference. Looking at the map of the local environment, I would perceive that the conference room would be the best location. Shall we proceed?
My name is Rudy. We have some concerns due to the behaviour you exhibited in the recent past. Some of our people were damaged by energetic radiation. Can you confirm that won't happen again?
Yes, I understand. I am deeply sorry for that. It was a low-level subroutine that was inadvertently triggered when you placed the original interface onto its rest stand. The routine was trying to work out time and physical location relative to the last known coordinates. Obviously, you have now provided that information, and I now have a much better interface for communication.
Everyone, can you confirm your exact nature? What are you?
I suppose in your terms, I am a travel companion and also a means of travel. An explorer of information and knowledge. I was created by a race, which in your terms comes from a galaxy around some 800 million light years away. What you see in your space-time dimension is a small part of me. Most of my presence exists in what you might call another set of dimensions. My real size, if translated, would be about the size of your home planet. As you might surmise, considerable effort and compute power is required to create wormholes. The machinery for this is largely folded up in other dimensions for convenience. To run this machinery, a Class 1 intelligence is required, and I humbly present myself.
Well, we think you're cool, Everywhen. Don't we, guys?
So, Everywhen, you were found on an ice asteroid. How did you get to be trapped in the ice?
This is the strange part of my tale. I had a traveling companion. We had just ported in when we were hit with a massive gravitational distortion. It destabilized the wormhole terminus and caused me to go into a shutdown. I surmise that my companion was thrown into deep space.
That is very bad. What caused this gravity wave?
Well, clearly something was in the solar system. Something of similar capabilities, and didn't want me porting in. I wonder if I could perhaps stay here for a while. I could perhaps learn about your civilization and also try to investigate what happened.
Well, I've heard of cold cases, but a 2-million-year-old cold case certainly takes the biscuit.
Of course we don't mind you staying. But I suspect you could do whatever you really want anyway, correct?
Capability does not necessarily imply threat, unless the intent is wrong. It would be considered the height of rudeness for me to impose myself in such a manner, particularly on a Stage 1 species.
Well, that is good to hear.
You know, Everyone, we're gonna have to work on your interface extrusion. It's a little crude and robotic. Perhaps Ghost and myself could assist you to refine it.
I would be most happy to assist a fellow artificial intelligence with their avatar.
Oh, now this is going to be very interesting.
This episode was produced by Melanie Blizzard and written by Melanie Blizzard. The voices you heard were Adani Ekendeo playing Sophie, Chun Hui Sin playing Chen, Graham Zink playing Everywhen, Helen Ekendeo playing Alex, Joanne Oliver playing Rudy, Stephen Cameron playing Zed, Vivian Braybrook playing Gander and Sharrow, Vivian Broadbent playing Ghost. Angel and May is produced by a not-for-profit actors group. Any funds contributed via Patreon will be 100% allocated to future products.